What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show. We discuss everything going on here in our country that you need to know about on a daily basis, including money, investing, the stock market, the fourth stimulus package update, stimulus check update, and daily news. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, make sure to click the subscribe button down below right now so you don't miss out on new videos that come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's completely free to do so. And also, thanks so much for hitting the like button for us down below. We have some major breaking news to get here to today. Let's start with this right now. Gas prices are going to be going even higher than you have seen. Here we go. The price of oil just spiked up almost another $10 a barrel. Yeah, as you can see here on these charts, WTI crude is up to $125 a barrel now. And Brent crude is up to 128.8, almost $129 a barrel. These are real-time prices here. And these are the highest prices we have seen in over 10 years. Over 10 years, they have gone up now almost $10 a barrel just in almost the last 24 hours. Wow. This is going to send up gas even more. Remember, the price of gas today here had just broke the $4 per gallon for regular gas in the US. This was before this spike, on oil. And remember, this is the price for oil globally. Okay, and this is just because of the Russian-Ukrainian war. So now this was really the price for, we'll call it yesterday-ish, today-ish, before this spike of oil. So this is the national average. Of course, we know places like Hawaii and California are $5 or more in some areas, okay? And diesel $4.52 on average. And yeah, and you could see just a week ago they were $3.60 for regular. Now it's $4. It went up 40 cents in a week, and nothing else has happened in a week but the Russian invasion. So it's went up 40 cents in a week, and you see a month ago it was $3.43. It's went up 57 cents in a month, and it's now going to go up even more. This is a dramatic surge in oil just in the last 24 hours. Did this just go up again? This just went up again while I was talking to you guys. It's not 130 a barrel. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, guys, but literally while I was talking to you, in the last 10 seconds, it's gone up again, guys. The price of Brent crude now is at 130. Wow. And you can see natural gas and heating oil. I don't really recall what these were at before, but these have gone up as well. Heating oil is up 7%. Wow. Brent crude's now at, well, you can see it's fluctuating a little bit. It was just at 130. Now it's at 128. So we are fluctuating a little bit here. It's rising and fluctuating here as we speak. Yeah, this is just really crazy here. Yeah, you can see here it's basically at almost 130 a barrel and rising quickly. Who knows what it could be by tomorrow? And remember, this is a global trade. It's like a global stock market. It's not just like USA stock market. Remember, there's stock markets all around the world, and that's where oil is basically traded. It's a global stock market. This is literally updating in real time while I'm recording this video, which is right before it goes live to you guys. Yeah, it's crazy. And here's the next thing. The USA has now cut off some Russian oil. So Hawaii has now stopped importing Russian oil. And apparently that most of the oil from Russia goes to Hawaii and California, the West Coast, because it makes sense. Russia's up there. You see here that Russia's right next to Alaska and basically the West Coast. So apparently, the most of the oil goes to California and Hawaii, and Hawaii has apparently already stopped importing Russian oil. Check this out.
Heather, thank you for coming to the Sunday show. I've got 3 areas of sanctions I want to talk to you about. The first one being oil and gas. The administration says that the economy is strong enough to withstand the impact of a ban on Russian oil. And while the Biden administration hasn't made it official, you've tweeted that the U.S. has already basically stopped buying Russian oil. Talk more about that.
Yeah, obviously we are seeing these oil prices, the gas prices at the pump are already over $4 a gallon today. So people are feeling it. It's up 40 cents in the last week. The reality here is the United States could fairly easily cut itself off from Russian oil. We only import about 5 to 7% a year from Russia. Most of that is going to Hawaii and California. The largest refinery, the only refinery in Hawaii, announced this week that they are no longer accepting crude oil imports from Russia. So they have basically started this process of cutting the United States off from Russian oil and gas. But the big problem here is just what the Secretary of State Blinken was talking about. Europe is a totally different story. Yes, the U.S. would feel some pain from doing this, but Europe is getting 40% of their energy from Russia. And so if they cut off Russian oil and gas and coal, Russia's also their largest coal supplier, Europe's really looking at recession. They're looking at huge high prices and a serious hurt to their economy.
Heather, real quickly, are the Europeans even talking about oil and gas sanctions, going along with them in the way that Secretary Blinken talked about?
They're starting to. This is obviously an active discussion that's going on, but it would be so much more pain for their economy than even what we're seeing in the United States that it's really difficult. I've seen a lot of calls for the European Union, for people to turn down their thermostats. How about we import more from Algeria or Iran or Saudi Arabia? And these are all would have to be in the mix, but it still would not make up for that supply that they're currently getting from Russia. So that means it won't just be turning down the thermostat. They would probably have to do rolling closures of factories and truly looking at that horrible stagflation type of economy with no growth or recession and super high prices.
Right. All right, we've got 90 seconds, and I want to squeeze these 2 in. Boris Johnson, Prime Minister of Great Britain, said today in an op-ed at the Times that one of the things he thinks is that the Russian banks should be removed from SWIFT. Good idea, bad idea?
It's basically already happened. There's almost very few Western companies want to do business anymore with Russia. So it sort of seems odd that we haven't done, the full removal. All of this is really about still keeping those European Union purchases of energy flowing.
And last question real quickly, these sanctions on oligarchs, more sanctions were hit at the end of last week. Are those sanctions real? Do they have a real impact, or are they really for show?
They certainly have an impact. Russian billionaires have lost 80 billion in wealth in the last few days from these sanctions. We've seen a couple of those super yachts that have been seized. But the reality is rich people, these billionaires, most of their money is not sitting in bank accounts that say, I am a Russian billionaire. They're hidden in bank accounts that are anonymous trusts, including in parts of the United States. States like South Dakota have laws that make it very easy to hide money in blind trusts and anonymous trusts. So it's going to be difficult to shut it all off.
So they're reporting that 5 to 7% of Russian oil goes to the U.S. We had previously seen from Google that 8% or as high as 8% of Russian oil went to the U.S. or was imported. As I said, it fluctuates a little bit. So anywhere from 5 to 8% of American oil is imported from Russia. But we already now have Hawaii has cut off Russian oil. And you heard her say that all of Russian oil basically goes to the West Coast, Hawaii, California, because Russia's on the West Coast, so they're not importing it all the way to the East Coast. So it's only 5 to 8%, and they're already starting to cut it off. So we could see it completely cut off. And that may happen. That may happen. But the price of oil is skyrocketing globally, regardless of what we do here in the U.S. And you also heard her say there that Europe may not even be able to cut themselves off from Russian oil completely. She talked about that they may had to have rolling factory blackouts because they might not have enough oil. Russia provides 40% of the oil and gas to Europe. So they have a much bigger concern there. The U.S. could shut themselves off from oil to Russia. It's only 5 to 8% of our oil. And remember that we export about 38% of our oil, and we just sell it overseas. Remember, the gas companies are the ones selling it. It's not the Biden administration or the Trump administration. It's Chevron, Exxon, BP, Shell. So we can just sell a little bit less of our oil, keep it here at home. We're fine. We're not going to have an oil shortage, okay? We could drill, baby, drill as well, just for a little bit more supply, just sell less, anything along those lines. We're going to be fine with supply. The price of oil is traded on the global markets, and it affects us here at home. It affects when you go to fill up. It's over $4 a gallon here nationally on average. Some places higher, some places lower. And it's also going to affect food. It's going to affect groceries. It's going to affect anything you buy because everything has to be trucked to the stores, and it's going to be going even higher. Expect the inflation reports to go even higher than 7.5%. Maybe not the February inflation reports, which are going to be coming out here because that's in the past. But these March inflation reports, which is, going to be coming out here in the future, yeah, it's really, 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 really sad. We're gonna need some assistance. There's so many people struggling right now, as is already. Yeah, and it's just like, what can the government do to kind of help everybody already struggling during this time? The Democrats are talking about a federal gas tax reprieve where they can pause the federal gas tax. That's 18 cents per gallon. The Republicans don't want to do that because they don't want to hand the Democrats a win. I personally think that they should do that because we're here to help the people, not care about who's winning, right? There's also states that are considering doing this as well. Remember that your state gas tax can be anywhere from around 30 to 50 cents per gallon, even a little bit more than 50 cents in some states like California. Like even the governor of California, Gavin Newsom, has said that they're going to be pausing the increase on the state gas tax this year, probably, as well as issuing another stimulus check in 2022 because they have so much money and they've been doing so well, which is a dramatic turnaround. If you remember, a few years ago, California had a massive deficit, and now they've had enough money for stimulus checks last year and probably another stimulus check this year. They have a 40 or 50 billion dollars in surplus again this year. So bravo to them to go from losing money to having so much extra money that they can pause their gas tax increases. Because again, a lot of states have increases that are just kind of built with inflation just to keep up with inflation. And so they're probably going to be pausing that, as well as issuing stimulus checks again. California is just kind of the big one because they have so many people there. It's around 27 plus million people that get the stimulus checks in California, that got them last year and are probably going to get them this year. They actually could be bigger this year. Remember that last year they were $600, and if you had a child, you could get an extra $500 for a total of $1,100. They said they could be even more this year. So, yeah, it's very interesting what could happen here for another 27 million people here in California. And if you've been watching my show, all these different states are kind of issuing anti-inflationary checks, which is to help out with inflation, and states that are doing this as well. Almost on a daily basis, I have all these different states that are issuing additional help, additional benefits here right now, or proposing additional stimulus checks or different kind of ways to help give back right now, because it's going to be getting worse, unfortunately. I hate to be the bearer of bad news when it comes to gas, but I can't make up the news. I can't make up the news, you know. And unfortunately, unless Putin can be stopped here sometime soon, uh, this could get worse. This could get worse, and that kind of begs the question here: how do we stop Putin? How do we stop him? Because the Belarusian president released a map by accident in one of their meetings that was televised, that shows that they want to invade Moldova next. So this kind of reminds us of Hitler, where they're just going to invade one country, and then the next, and then the next, and it's affecting everybody, not just those countries. It's affecting oil prices around the world, stock prices around the world, people around the world. And is he going to stop until somebody stops him? And that's why in a recent survey here in the US, it was 42% of people surveyed in the US actually said that they think the US should actually apply military presence to stop Putin. Yeah, and honestly, if the way things are going, if Putin's actually having a problem taking over Ukraine, they'd have a really tough time with the U.S. and all the 30 NATO countries. I don't think Russia could even win that. The only thing that Russia has really is the nukes, and Putin is a little bit of a crazy card there. Now, I don't know if he could actually reach the USA. I mean, there is, well, I'll take that back, because you have Alaska, Hawaii, and California. They're kind of close. So now the question you have to ask yourself is Putin going to stop? And if he doesn't stop, he continues to do this, as we've already seen. How do you stop him? Just continues to do this over and over and over, take over more countries. Nobody stops him. This goes on for how many more years? I mean, we've seen this in the past with World War II. What do you do? What do you do? If he doesn't stop, what do you do? And again, this is affecting us. You can't say this isn't affecting us. This is affecting us. Yeah, so it's a tough decision, man. It's tough. So I mean, it's not a decision we need to make today, but the longer this drags on, the more we kind of get pulled into it, and other countries in Europe and NATO. And remember that if Putin attacks any single NATO country, which he's basically surrounded by, that's a declaration of war for all NATO countries, including the US. Yeah, so that's the really big one. That's the really big one there. So yeah, it's it's a crazy one out there right now. We got so much going on here that's affecting Americans, and gas is now at near $130 a barrel. I remember just a few weeks ago saying, you guys, gas could be at 100, or oil could be at $100 a barrel. Now we're at $130 a barrel. What's next? Am I going to be sitting here talking to you guys here in a few days saying oil's at $150 a barrel? I, yeah, yeah. And what do we do about it? What do we do? And the drill baby drill thing, it takes time to set that up. It takes time to set that up. I do agree we do need to drill more, but you don't just start drilling tomorrow. You know, it takes time and money and resources to set up new drill operations. So yeah, let me know your thoughts here in the comments. I'm going to keep you up to date here. We got a lot going on here on a daily basis. So don't miss out on any new episodes. New videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on our YouTube channel here. Make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't yet. It's completely free to do so. And also help us reach 400,000 subscribers. We're at 399,000. So click subscribe right now if you haven't yet, and I'll keep you up to date. You can click here to watch my newest video next. And you can click here to watch my newest video about potential executive orders for stimulus coming out here by Pramila Jayapal, was just talked about. So click on that video to watch it next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video.